Indiana Newsdesk is made possible in part by the following: IU Health Southern Indiana physicians, primary care and specialty care providers now accepting new patients in Bloomington and throughout South Central Indiana. siphysicians.org. The IU School of Education, preparing teachers, scholars, and administrators to improve teaching and learning in Indiana and around the world. More at education.indiana.edu. Smithville Fiber, the GigaCity Company, fiber internet, HD, and digital IPTV in Southern Indiana. More information at smithville.com. Indiana University Alumni Association, linking IU's network of over 650,000 alumni and sharing the Indiana spirit through scholarships and volunteer opportunities. alumni.iu.edu. And by WTIU members. Thank you.
Coming up on Indiana Newsdesk.
Purdue University is one step away from sealing a deal with for-profit Kaplan University. Up next, I'll tell you what last-ditch efforts are being made to try to stop it.
Plus, some Vigo County residents worry changes to voting centers will make it harder for some people to cast a ballot. Why the election board says that simply isn't true. And we take a look at a slice of life in Indiana, sugar cream pie.
It began to be loved because it was a natural pie for the farm.
Ahead, we'll talk about how a desperation dessert became a beloved part of Indiana culture. Those stories, plus the latest news headlines from across the state, right now on Indiana Newsdesk. Welcome to Indiana Newsdesk. I'm Joe Wren. Purdue University's plan to acquire a for-profit online college is almost a done deal. Still, some tireless faculty are hoping they can stop it. Purdue announced its plans in April to buy Kaplan University. It hopes to serve more adult learners through the online platform, which it's nicknaming New U. Some educators are worried about the potential repercussions of the deal. Lindsay Wright is here to tell us more.
Yeah, with the Purdue-Kaplan deal, there are strong arguments on both sides. On one hand, Kaplan University is known as a for-profit organization, which makes critics question the real motive of the acquisition. Purdue officials say there's no hidden agenda. While the Indiana Commission for Higher Education and the U.S. Department of Education both approved the deal, it still has to go to the Higher Learning Commission. Faculty members are petitioning the commission to vote no. Purdue professor David Sanders says the acquisition with Kaplan showed a lack of respect for faculty from the beginning.
At that first meeting, there was stunned silence. There wasn't a single question because there were so many questions.
Sanders says he thinks more faculty should have been involved in Purdue's decision to buy the for-profit school and turn it into a new online university. But Senior Vice Provost for Teaching and Learning, Frank Dooley, says there are a couple reasons the plan was kept rather quiet. To start, he says non-disclosures were signed during the deal-making process that prevented faculty from getting involved.
I would say it's fair to say there's a tension in where do faculty get involved versus where do your trustees get involved. Our trustees take the notion that this was clearly in their domain and it was not a question of the faculty.
But those answers don't satisfy faculty members, and it's only one of the issues they have with the Kaplan situation. Sanders says he thinks opposition is growing with time. More than 40,000 students are enrolled at Purdue, and opponents of this deal say those students are at risk. They say the mere association with Kaplan could bring down the university's reputation.
I'll talk about University X. If University X has let's say a basketball scandal, it affects how people regard it as an institution. It affects how people think about it academically.
Dooley says although New U will offer its own separate diploma and degrees outside of Purdue, Purdue's reputation is important to him and other officials involved.
We're confident that once people understand the quality of the work that is done at Kaplan, the quality of the people who work at Kaplan, they're going to say, they look a lot like the people who work at Purdue.
Purdue says the deal with Kaplan allows the university to fast-track a plan to increase education opportunities for adult learners. Purdue will essentially acquire Kaplan's current students, faculty, and curriculum as part of the deal. Scott Jenkins is the director of state policy for the Lumina Foundation and previously worked under current Purdue president Mitch Daniels. He says non-traditional college students who are older than 24 have different needs than traditional students, and they can lack opportunities. About 38% of students with additional family or financial obligations leave school within their first year.
You've got a proven technology platform of Kaplan. You've already got students enrolled. You've already dealt with issues around marketing. You've dealt with issues around financial aid. You've got a back office that's already ready to go.
The Indiana Commission for Higher Education has come under fire for its approval of the deal. Commissioner Teresa Lubbers says the group spent a lot of time vetting the deal, and she feels they've done their due diligence.
We also had been convinced that, we played out all the possible scenarios, that if there was a shortfall, where would they go? We have been given the assurance from Purdue it would not come to state taxpayers, that there would be other sources if that would be the case. The one thing that I am certain of is that there exists a need to meet the needs of adult students in a way that we've never seen before, and that in that regard, having an option like this, making sure that we ensure the quality will be important.
And on that point, Sanders agrees with Lubbers. He says he sees the positive aspect in investing in online education and adult students, but he says acquiring Kaplan doesn't open any new doors.
We are one of the top, computer science departments in the country. Computer, engineering. This is what we do, right? We're world famous for this, and yet we're taking over a second-rate, for-profit university in order to accomplish this task for us.
Lindsay Wright is still here with us to go a little bit deeper into this topic. So how do faculty members think that they can stop this?
More than 300 faculty members have signed on to a petition. In it, they cite concerns, and they've actually sent that to the Higher Learning Commission, so hope to make an impact there. Now, some University Senate members are looking into the legality of the deal between Kaplan and Purdue. They're thinking they might find something that violates the state's constitution. It was actually legislation that was passed in the 2017 session that has allowed this deal to kind of play out how it has.
So one of Purdue's arguments is that it's in line with the school's historical land grant, so that it provides accessibility to expand their education, though, right?
Yeah, that's right. And this has been a big argument. And they say by pushing forward with this deal with Kaplan, they're continuing to fulfill that mission, which dates back to the 1800s. Critics say that argument has no merit because Kaplan already exists. So this is technically a new online school, but it's not as if Purdue is opening a new avenue for someone to get an education.
Now, you said under this deal, Kaplan, which was a for-profit school, will become a public benefit corporation.
That's right, and there are concerns with that because although it's no longer a for-profit organization, there are concerns that it won't have to follow the same public access records requirements like other public institutions like Purdue, for example. So transparency concerns.
So any timeline on this now?
The Higher Learning Commission is expected to issue its final decision in February or March, I was told, and Purdue officials want to go live with the new university in April.
Okay. Lindsay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Now for headlines, we go over to Barbara Brozier, who has the latest on this week's top stories.
Thanks, Joe. Vigo County is holding off on making any changes to voting centers or voting times. The election board tabled the discussion after hearing concerns from a number of residents. They claimed the board was trying to suppress voters by reducing the number of vote centers and early voting hours.
I think that the community's engagement shows that there's a passion for voting in Vigo County, and I think we need to address that.
Mike Gordon was among the residents who attended the crowded meeting. He says, among other things, he's concerned that there's no voting center on Indiana State University's campus.
I think that it is kind of weird that the largest employer in the community with a residential population is not being considered very positively as a voting center.
Newman says finances play a role in determining the location of voting centers. His staff searches for venues that will allow the county to use their space free of charge. It's unclear when the board will make a decision on changes to voting centers and early voting hours. Indiana Senate Democrats' agenda for the upcoming legislative session is nothing new. They're pushing for expanded voter access measures, a proposed minimum wage increase, and a bias crimes law. Some of those ideas have support from key GOP leaders this year, and caucus leader Senator Tim Linnane says that's critical.
But we're going to challenge them to hear our bills, and we're going to challenge them if they don't give us hearing on these bills as to why not. So, and the public deserves it. They deserve to hear these debates.
Other proposals include an increase in the minimum wage and a paid family leave policy for the state. The 2018 legislative session begins in January. The opioid epidemic is the reason the state's infant mortality rates are going up, despite efforts by the Indiana State Department of Health. On the 5th anniversary of the health department's Labor of Love initiative, more infants are dying before their first birthday than when the program started. State Health Commissioner Christina Box says any progress the state has made has been overshadowed.
So I think we made some really good inroads, but unfortunately we've added on top of that our substance use disorder and opioid epidemic.
When the initiative kicked off in 2012, 556 babies lost their lives. Last year, that number was 623. Indiana has one of the highest rates of infant mortality in the nation. Indiana's 9th district is being called next year's most competitive congressional race. 4 Democrats say they want to face Republican Representative Trey Hollingsworth. The candidates joined more than 80 residents at Ivy Tech Bloomington this week for a forum.
Tonight's been agonizing for me because, once again, I just don't think that I want your attention to not be focused on issues, but the things that are going to keep us out of office.
I think it's important to beat and put Republican values behind us into the future and try to give ourselves some progressive breathing room.
The truth is, folks, if we bring somebody in who has to learn on the job and spend 2 years trying to figure out exactly how it works, I don't think that person is staying.
I would respectfully disagree with the idea that what we need is Washington experience. But what we need is the New York experience or San Francisco experience or any other kind of experience other than Indiana experience.
And the State Department of Natural Resources is increasing its surveillance efforts after a deer tested positive for chronic wasting disease in Illinois near the Indiana border. The increased surveillance coincides with the start of firearms season this weekend. DNR biologists will be at popular hunting spots to take lymph node samples from any willing hunters. Chronic wasting disease is deadly. It's similar to mad cow disease and attacks a deer's nervous system. There's no evidence it can be transferred to humans. So, Joe, that's a story to watch to see how some of those tests pan out this weekend.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Barbara. Coming up next on Indiana Newsdesk. Lobbyists have reached a deal to change Indiana's alcohol laws, but is that their place? Coming up, our State House reporter joins us to explain how the lobbyist attempt at compromise might backfire. Sugar cream pies are a longtime favorite in the Hoosier State. Coming up, we'll look at how they became a slice of Indiana history. These stories and more right here on Indiana Newsdesk.
The WTIU WFIU news team connects Indiana to the world. We bring you the top news of the day on radio, TV, and online. We round up the stories that have people talking each week and dig deep into the issues that affect your community the most. The WTIU WFIU news team is where you are and telling your story.
$10,000.
15? 15, you think?
20, 21,000?
600.
20. 18.5.
24.
It's at least 40.
Look at it.
4,500,000.
650.
20.
650.
This textile would be worth about $500,000.
$500,000?
No way.
I knew it. It's just a blanket.
Laying on the back of a chair. Well, sir, you have a national treasure.
Wow.
A national treasure. Congratulations. I can't believe this.
Welcome back to Indiana Newsdesk. Lobbyists have a lot of influence over the state's alcohol laws. As we've reported, a commission is considering changes that could eliminate the Sunday sales ban or open up who can sell cold beer. Now, the head of that committee is now accusing lobbyists of jumping the gun by announcing they'd reached a compromise deal. Our State House reporter, Brandon Smith, joins us now. Brandon, you know, it's really interesting, but when you listen to Bev Gard, the head of the commission, it seems like she's saying this deal could backfire.
Yeah, well, she says it seems like because the Indiana Association of Beverage Retailers, which is the liquor store lobby, and the Indiana Retail Council, which is grocery and drug stores, because they agreed that, well, Sunday sales is what we should push forward with now, that's just a done deal. And of course, there's the little step before that happens of the General Assembly passing a bill and the governor signing it into law.
Right, so now the alcohol lobbies worked out a deal amongst themselves in an attempt to ease the process of new laws. Do you have a sense of how other lawmakers that maybe benefit from this lobbyist money might react when it comes time to potentially vote on these new alcohol rules?
It's tough to tell right now, but it definitely has the potential to backfire, because if lawmakers go along with what the two lobbies sort of worked out this agreement on, which is legalizing Sunday sales but not the expansion of cold beer sales, it then seems like lawmakers only did it because the lobbies told them to, even if that's where they were headed all along.
You know, this has been a big year for the alcohol debate in Indiana. Briefly, what brought us to where we are right now?
Honestly, a gambit by convenience store magnate Jay Ricker. He wanted to sell cold beer in his convenience stores, so we found a sort of backdoor way of doing it, which is by setting up restaurants, but were really counters where he sells burritos in a couple of his locations. That allowed him to sell cold beer. The General Assembly tried to step in, and ultimately they decided, well, let's take a look at the whole alcohol code.
So since much of the current discussion started, as you said, because of that move by the convenience store Rickers to sell cold beer, what are the convenience stores saying about this?
Well, they probably rightly feel a little screwed by this deal between the grocery and grocery and liquor stores. It really boils down to this. Liquor stores would prefer that nothing changes, but if change is going to come, they're more comfortable opening up Sunday sales than they are cold beer sales. The grocery stores care more about Sunday sales, so they're happy to partner with the liquor stores, and that leaves the convenience stores who really want to sell cold beer on the outside looking in.
All right, Brennan, we'll see what happens. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joe.
Vigo County officials say their schools are in dire need of repairs. They're continuing to hold open houses to show residents the condition of the aging buildings. As Tyler Lake reports, the only way to get the upgrades the district needs is with a referendum.
William Bailey Jr. is guiding parents and residents through the halls of Terre Haute South Vigo High School. Along the way, he points out places where the roof is leaking and electrical outlets aren't up to code.
But there's probably 5,000, 6,000 plugins in this place.
The school board wants to make sure it has community support before moving forward with one of 5 plans to better the situation, at costs that range from $190 to more than $350 million. Bailey, the head janitor at South Vigo, shows residents how the old hydraulic control system for heating and cooling the school is failing.
And it's hard to keep the rooms at temperature when you got leaks in the walls, because these lines on the walls are 45 years old. They've been there from day one.
Completely tearing down the high school and rebuilding it would result in the highest cost, and it would also add a 4th high school to the area. Bruce Perry, Chief Financial Officer for Vigo County Schools, says the 3 high schools in the city are increasingly difficult to maintain and upgrade.
You know, what we're looking at is, you know, buildings that are at or near the end of their useful life. You know, the building methods were a little different, and so, you know, the flexibility and ability to improve those buildings, you know, is just a little more challenging.
Ultimately, Terre Haute voters will be the ones who decide whether or not the schools receive the funding. For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Tyler Lake.
The Vigo County School Board will eventually choose one of the 5 proposals that will determine how much they ask voters for when they put the referendum on the ballot. Well, if you've lived in Indiana long, you've likely had a slice of sugar cream pie. It's often referred to as the unofficial state pie because of its popularity among Hoosiers. Barbara Brozier takes us to a family business that helped introduce the recipe to masses and delves into how the pie became so popular.
A good pie starts with a good crust.
The staff at Wix Pies knows a little something about a good crust.
The flour is automatically dumped into a mixing bowl, about 100 pounds, comes in, and then we add the shortening, and today we're adding lard. That's our shortening of choice, is pure lard.
The company's Winchester production facility cranks out tens of thousands of pies and pie shells in just one day. The weeks leading up to Thanksgiving are its busiest of the year. And the pie that's in highest demand, well, it's no contest.
About 75% of what we sell is sugar cream pies.
The famous Wix sugar cream pie dates back to 1944, when Dwayne Wickersham started his first restaurant in Randolph County. He couldn't find a good pie to serve, so he started baking his own. Many of the recipes he used were his grandmother's, and they became so popular, Dwayne started selling them to other restaurants.
In the 40s, he was making about 20 pies a day. In the late 50s, he was up to 200. And then in 1962, he moved into this facility, put a patent on the old-fashioned sugar cream pie, and we now make around 10,000 pies a day when we do make pies in an 8-hour shift.
Wix pies are now available in almost every region of the country. But the dessert was popular long before it went into mass production.
So the earliest recipe that I know of is an Indiana recipe from 1816, which is the year that the state was founded, that Indiana became a state. I wouldn't be surprised if Shaker or Amish communities who traveled west to settle in Indiana were making some version of this before they came here.
Sugar cream pie gained early popularity because it's what's known as a desperation pie. You could make it year-round because it doesn't require fresh fruit, and the few ingredients needed are things most people already had in their pantries.
The only really consistent ingredient in sugar cream pie is sugar. In addition to sugar, though, there is usually milk or cream, or half and half. It depends. You get vanilla, nutmeg, usually butter and salt, and sometimes flour and cornstarch, or one or the other, to use as a thickening agent.
In the state's early days, pie wasn't necessarily seen as the special occasion treat it is now. You'd often find it on the menu at church gatherings or farms.
You'd get everyone together to help you plow your field, and all the women would get together and make the food. So pie really fits into that because it's something that can feed a lot of people, and you can bake it and it can sit.
It's such a celebrated part of the state's food culture that there's even a special culinary trail dedicated to Indiana pie.
It touches a part of, your stomach as well as the soul in bringing back those memories and making good memories with family and friends.
The Hoosier Pie Trail features 21 stops throughout the state, including Mrs. Wicks. Dwayne Wickersham opened this restaurant across the street from his factory when he retired in 1986.
It is the unofficial state pie, and I think he had a big part to play in that, only because he brought it to what I would say the next generation. I think anybody of his age that grew up on a farm in rural Indiana, their mother or grandmother had a sugar cream pie recipe that she made. And so they were home baked, but he commercialized it and brought it to the consumer in the supermarket, and that opened it up for a whole new generation, and we're trying to maintain that, to continue to open that to a new generation.
Oh boy, that looks amazing.
Yes.
Now I see you're a pie maker too. Yeah, you bake all kinds of things. This looks amazing. Now what's different from this sugar cream pie?
So this is that 1816 version that was mentioned in the story. This actually can be found, the recipe, in the Hoosier Cookbook, and you can find that cookbook at a lot of libraries throughout Indiana, but it's so treasured you can't check it out most places. You just have to look there. But it's a classic sugar cream pie with sugar, cream, butter. I added a little cinnamon and nutmeg, which you do find in some recipes. So
now, is sugar cream pie the official most eating pie in Indiana for real?
I think
Do we know that?
it really depends on your family, but I did get on Google and analyze some searches from last November and found that pumpkin in Indiana was the most searched pie, then apple, then pecan, and then you got sugar cream. But it is really beloved here in Indiana by a lot of different Hoosiers.
And those folks there at Wix, of course, they're with pie all day. They get sick of it? No,
they don't get sick of it. So the good thing is that they rotate flavors. They make more than just sugar cream pie. And so some days they're making pumpkin, others pecan. So they get a little bit variety. And Mike Wickersham did tell me that every day they make pie, he has at least one slice.
Wow. What a job, huh?
It is quite
Good job
the
if you can get it. Thanks, Barbara. And that's the end of this program, but our work continues online as we cover the news throughout the week at WTIUnews.org. And a programming note, we're off next week for Thanksgiving. Have a great weekend and a wonderful holiday.
Indiana Newsdesk is made possible in part by the following: IU Health Southern Indiana physicians, primary care and specialty care providers now accepting new patients in Bloomington and throughout South Central Indiana. siphysicians.org. The IU School of Education, preparing teachers, scholars, and administrators to improve teaching and learning in Indiana and around the world. More at education.indiana.edu. Smithville Fiber, the Giga City Company, fiber internet, HD, and digital IPTV in Southern Indiana. More information at smithville.com. Indiana University Alumni Association, linking IU's network of over 650,000 alumni and sharing the Indiana spirit through scholarships and volunteer opportunities. alumni.iu.edu. And by WTIU members. Thank you.